Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show, where our mission is to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life. We have a minisode edition. Those are our fun music, little bells. But this is all about less than 10 minutes, giving you some important content that serves you in your real estate investing, your business life, so you don't run your investing like a hobby, or self-care, because self-care is the critical piece that makes us live the life we want on our own terms. So I'm going to be talking about how so many people in our community, so many investors I talk to, especially a lot of the women in our community, they are all about market fear of missing out, meaning they're always like, I think I'm going to miss something here. So then they jump into a new market. I'm going to give you some tips and strategies so you're not someone who that happens to. Okay. So Andresa, you know about fear of missing out, right? You know, if you just literally go on Facebook any day of the week or go on Instagram, talk about fear of missing out, right? We all have
bumps up. You're probably like, yeah, I'm cool. And then you see it, and you're like, oh, am I behind it or missing the boat?
And I think it comes up a lot when a lot of people share their success stories. I just purchased this fourplex. I'm doing this cool reno. I just bought this vacation rental. I'm doing self-storage. Like it's not only market fear of missing out, but it's asset class fear of missing out. And I think we all in the investing space can get into this cycle, and it's not a good cycle. No. And so I really want to talk about the market fear of missing out, because, you know, there's such power in focusing. I can tell you that because we weren't focused when we started our business, me and my husband, and started investing, and just came back from a trip. Why this came up for me. We just came back from a trip where we visited, we went to Lexington, Kentucky, where we have close to 1,100 units, the DeRosa group, the DeRosa team. And it's the largest amount of assets we have in one geographical area to date. And so why I'm telling you that is 3 years ago, we had 0 units in Lexington, Kentucky. So we've grown very quickly in that market. And I want to share with you now, at this point, we're going to turn around what we have there, work our business plan, but we're good there. 1,100 units from a business plan perspective is we're kind of solid there, if that makes sense for those listening. But I can tell you in the growth we've had, I want to tell you how to avoid having that feeling of fear of missing out, because now we literally have our own team. We have a property management company, but there's the DeRosa team. All they do is work on our assets. So think about what that does for leverage of time, leverage of resources, leverage of materials, leverage of just, team camaraderie. So we met a lot of the property management, folks that work for them this weekend. And it was just, I started to say, wow, when you really go in on an area and get to know them and build a relationship and also add assets to your portfolio, that can be really amazing for leverage. It doesn't have to be 1,100 units, ladies. I don't say this because it's either that or nothing. I just mean focusing on a market. And really, what does that mean? Number one, you start to look at that market as a long-term play. You're not going to go and then go in, build relationships, and then come out. That's not going to work for long-term play. So what do I mean by that? You're going to build relationships with brokers. Depending on the size of units you're looking for, the type of property you're looking for, it's either going to be that commercial broker or that just realtor who has access to the 10 units or less, depending on what you're looking for, right? But developing relationships as a player, that you don't want to just buy one property there, but you can express to them, I'm looking to purchase 5 buildings here over the course of 5 years or 2 years or in 1 year. But you start to explain what you're looking for on a long-term basis. They take you seriously. When we went into Lexington, remember those conversations we had with our broker that we were like, we're not playing around here. We're not looking for one building. So why is that important? Because they know you're focused. They're going to think of you as you close that one property, that first property, and you start to really make good on, wow, they're turning that around. They're different than other owners. They're really improving the area, whatever pieces are in part of your business plan. So number one, the opportunity to build relationships is critical when you're focusing on a market, rather than popping in to different markets. That's not going to work. Now, number two, really studying your market. When people really know their market, they know a lot. They should know a lot about their market. What is happening in that market in terms of rental growth? What's important to you? What type of assets are there? Is this an up and coming area, or is this like a class A area where it's already hot market and you're looking for maybe a beat up property? Or is this an up and coming area with up and coming properties, right? Value add people use, but I like to say up and coming because you got to think about asset class, and you have to think about not just the asset class, but you have to think about the market itself. And so for us going into Lexington was under the radar, right? It was a city, has a strong, market there, but we started to see certain signs: rental growth, job growth. Where are the jobs moving? What's happening with new construction? What's already there, in terms of employment? And what does that look like? We went to a horse race this weekend, and many people that go, live in our buildings work on the horse farms. Huge employment avenue for that area. Are those horse farms going anywhere? No. What does that look like? What's the history? So again, I'm not going to get into all the pieces, but between job growth, rental growth, is this a city or a community that's up and coming? Is there new construction? Is there investments being made? Those are all things that were important for us to see. Then we started investing in the area with the buildings that were beat up, really beat up, right? They're more turnaround because that matches our business model, wouldn't match others. So again, as you focus, what are you focused on? What type of asset? And what type of, what specifically in that market? Our asset class and our type of strategy does not work for all multifamily investors. It doesn't. It works for us and what we've built. Okay. So what will work for you is different than other people. The other thing I wanted to say is that, with regards to under the radar markets, once you focus, you got to have local boots on the ground, meaning that realtor, that commercial broker, that property management company. If they don't know the local market and you ask them, hey, what's the rental growth? What's happening in this market? I sat for an hour, and one of the gentlemen that leads the property management division that oversees our buildings, literally for an hour, talked to me and about all the things that are happening in Lexington. Was that helpful for me to hear? Yes, because I knew of some of them. I didn't know the extent, but hearing him say it was validation. Why was that validation? Because this company and this representative that's literally overseeing all of our assets knows what they're doing to the T. So I was very, again, as someone who's not there every day, it was really helpful for me as an owner to hear that, right? And to hear what's happening of things that I wasn't even aware of and what's, going on with some of the employment. So I say all those things. Don't get mixed up with fear of missing out. You need to focus on a market. And to determine the type of market is what type of asset class you want to go after and what type of, obviously, market you want to get into, how close, how local, out of state, all questions you can start to navigate. But once you focus and you build those relationships, then fulfill on those. Go look at the properties. Don't have brokers be sending you properties and you're like, oh, I'm good. You got to look serious. You got to look for real, and to meet with them and to meet with the local boots on the ground, people that can take a look on your properties if it's out of state. So I say all of that is get focused. That was the most important thing we did when we scaled. And had we been so diverse and distracted, I don't think we would have as many units in that area and really be able to leverage with a partner like a property management company. So I hope that was helpful today. Take something with all the minisodes we have and do something with it. So your homework assignment is focus on a market and go all in on that. Build those relationships and start making things happen.
Absolutely. And I recommend you to listen to this episode and pause, take notes, convert those into actions so you can really dissect it, because there's a lot of content here that was just shared. So I recommend to listen again. So sometimes our brain has some filters that we just hear a couple of things. So listen again. This is a quick, short one that has a ton of action underneath it that you can take it today. Hope you enjoy your day. Make it work. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.